Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Sorvino.
Hi. I'll tell you the joke of the guy, the Jewish kid who goes to college, goes to Columbia, not this Columbia, and gets into his name is Goldstein, he changes it to Gordon, and he gets into a very good firm, and he's really made it, and he's out on the golf course. He says, I've really made it now. And he shanks a ball, and he says, Oi! Whatever that means. So I'm from Borough Park. I can tell those jokes even though I'm not Jewish. From Borough Park in Brooklyn. And I can sing in Yiddish. Is gekommen in a klein Städte lachazen Daven in a Shabbos, oi Daven in a Shabbos. You know, it's very aptly named, this award, craft, because the acting you do in a movie is craft work. Although acting on stage is an art, acting in front of the camera is a craft. It is in certain ways more difficult than working on stage, even though on stage, you're dealing with the entire show, beginning, middle, and end. But there you have in your hands the result. You have whatever you're going to do that night is all yours. On a movie set, you have to deliver when and how many times they want you to deliver. And at the beginning of my career, for a long time, I was bridling at this. It was difficult for me because I'm an artist. I'm a sculptor and a painter and a writer. And it was difficult for me, so I bridled at it. I wanted to have my say. Well, when you direct a film, you have your say. I did that a couple of times, and I had my say, but it's such hard work. I turned back and I said, you know what, maybe it's easier just to let them direct, and you just do your thing, which you know how to do, and you hope you do very well, and let them do all the work. So I have come to enjoy my career a great deal more after 140-some movies. And just actually did 8 movies this last year. And with Rick Finkelstein producing, we did the movie starring Joe and me, How Sweet It Is. And we just did a pilot called Paulie, based on the character you just saw in How Sweet It Is. So it's kind of a comedy, Godfather-ish fellow. I don't know why they see me as this, I really don't. I'm going to ask each and every one of you why. And if I don't get the right answer, what am I doing? Wait, excuse me. So I've enjoyed my career a lot more in the last decade. I've come to understand that there's a place for the movie actor and the craft of movie acting. The craft of acting is built around understanding how to recreate the behavior of human beings. It's a craft in which you sort of manipulate yourself the way you move your emotions around the way a cowboy moves the cattle. You use, as the great acting teacher I studied with so many years ago, Sanford Meisner, said, you're in the business of finding the pinch for the ouch that you're looking for. We have to get to know ourselves and know what it is that moves us emotionally. And then we have to study the characters, like I had to study Dr. Kissinger. And that's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it's possible. And so you work at the art, as in all the arts I'm involved in painting, sculpting, painting, writing, directing. There's form and content. And the form is how it looks, how it sounds. But it is, and the content is the emotion. So when you see a work of art in a museum, on a ballet, in a play, in an opera, often you want to say, let's say a pianistic concert, the fellow can play great, but I'm not moved. So we will know that what he's doing is expressing enormous technical ability. He has the form, but he doesn't have the content. And this is the secret of putting anything together artistic. Since I work in 4 or 5 different disciplines, I've had to learn the universal laws of art, or you just can't do them. You find that everything is similar. The laws are the same. Once you do a split like Joey here, I mean, it's the same thing as painting an ear on a portrait. you know how to do it. You learn how to do it, and you know how to do it. There is a great joy in being, please forgive me if I say this, master of something. It takes about 20 years, I was told when I was a young student with Sanford Meisner, to make a master actor. And I had a great desire to do this. And I will tell you that in class, in the first 6 months, I was the worst actor in the school. I was a scholarship student, both in the musical side and the acting side, and I was terrible. The exercise girl, Debbie Duke, was better than I was. And I said, what do I have to do? What is this? I just don't understand it. So I took it to mind that, okay, you don't have any talent. Because when I got to the school, I had God's gift to acting and performing, of course. So wonderful I was. And then I thought to myself, I have no talent. It's all been a mirage. I don't have any ability. But maybe if I work very, very hard, maybe then I can really be an actor, because I wanted to be an actor very, very much. And so I worked like a miner with his hat in the depths of a mountain, searching for golden ore. And I worked very, very hard. I worked 4 or 5, 6 hours after school every day, 5 or 6 hours. On weekends, I became the ghost of the hallways. I would haunt the hallways and stop other students and say, you want to do some repetition? You want to do some exercises? People started to avoid me. And there he is again. Oh my, what a pain in the neck that guy is. But I was so committed. And I knew I wasn't going to be a great actor. I knew I was hardly going to be an actor at all. But I said, at least technically I can be perfect. That you can learn. You're not born with technique. You're born with talent. Charisma, talent, looks, everything, all that. But I have something that maybe the other fellow is not willing to do. I'm willing to work harder than anybody. And then after about 6 or 7 months, I did an exercise, and it just, it was like a volcano erupting. Emotionally, I went 45-minute improvisation with a partner who was wonderful, back and forth to every emotion known to men and women. And it then came to pass that I was, from the worst actor, I was the best actor in the school. And that came about not because I was born a good actor. I was born with the seeds of extraordinary labor. My father worked 3 jobs, an immigrant boy, and very smart. He should have been a brain surgeon. He was so deft and so talented. I come from very hard-working people, immigrant people, to whom labor and hard work is part of everyday life. No one questions it. This is just what we do. And so I'm so thankful to that legacy of my parents. My mother was such an accomplished pianist. You know what that takes. So that all came together to make an actor. And then maybe 15 or 20 years later, I could call myself a master. I had worked very, very hard. And I had done a number of different kinds of roles. And I was on the stage. And I did all kinds of good things. I think today, here in the city of big shoulders, the city of the Goodman and Steppenwolf, all the great theatrical things that come from this great city, I'm very happy to speak to you tonight. I'm very happy to be a part of it. I did a wonderful movie here about, I don't know, it was in the late 70s called Dummy, which was a television movie about one of your great citizens, Lowell Myers, the only deaf trial lawyer in America at that time. And he defended a black deaf-mute kid played by LeVar Burton. And I was lucky enough to do this role. And I had to speak like a deaf person. You know, I do all these voices, and I like to do it. But I had to learn how to do it and also act. You have to, the craft, let's go back to craft. The craft of acting demands that you not only feel it, but that you put it together with the external. That is to say, how it sounds, as I said before, and how it looks. So I was on the North Shore Holiday Inn, I think it was, where there was one Rick's Café Americain, a takeoff on the Rick's of Casablanca. And Joe Williams was singing, and it was a marvelous 3 weeks of my life to be in Chicago then. I've sung here in concert, and I made a commercial here years ago, and I'm back here to see all you wonderful people and to be part of this, and all these wonderful people who've been awarded. So touching. So, Regina, so touching. And that wonderful gal, Corey, who has told us her story. So I feel humbled and not really worthy to get up after that kind of wonderful thing, but at least maybe a minute or two longer than I should have, but I've spoken to you from my heart, and I've spoken to you from my soul. Thank you very much. I'm very, very honored.